I am live again. Today is session number 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you can see by the little currently thing in the bottom left, I will be programming drums. Yes, that's right. Programming drums yet again. This album's got 13 songs. One of them doesn't have drums, so there's 12 songs total that need drums. 2 of the songs are already done and out. One of the songs is basically done as far as drums go, and most of the instrumentals. And then I've programmed, I think, 3 different songs for drums. Yeah, the Before Times, You're Not As Boring As You Think, and Camu. So that's 3 and 3, 6. So I've still got 6 more songs left to program drums for. This song is the 6th song on the album that I'm going to be working on today. I might not do the whole thing. There's like this intro section that I might skip today. I might want to change that a bit. But I'm going to work on the main bulk of it. It's a pretty simple punk song. And I'm codenaming it TG for now. I've already saved the project in Cubase. I haven't opened anything yet. I haven't bounced any drums, MIDIs, or anything like that. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm doing it on my other screen, so you can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm opening up the tabit file for TG and doing an export. It's just a code name. I'm going to change the name later. Kind of depends on how the lyrics. Most of the lyrics are written for the song. I do want to change some of them, so depending on how I change them, I might change the name of the song. Export MIDI. I'll just export all of the tracks for funsies. Put this in a MIDI folder. Call it TG. Cool. So now I'm going to import those MIDI tracks. Drop them in down here in my MIDI section. These are all the MIDI tracks for the last song I was working on in the last session, which was Camu. So I'll clear all those out. I'll clear out the drums from Camu. And we'll go ahead and drop them in. I don't know how these are going to line up on the tracks, but we'll fix it and move stuff around. Maybe delete some. I want to drop it in around the 4 mark. See where that landed. Right on. Cool. Drum tracks on this one are probably this track, if I had to guess. I can't even hear it, so it must not be linked to anything. But this looks like the drum track, so let's move this up to the drums. I always do this. I know there's an easier way of doing this. So we're going to go to the beginning of that. We're going to copy it. Actually, we'll just cut it. And then we'll paste it on the drum track. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of the drum hits in the intro section here. Go to drum editor so I can see little hits. Delete all those out. So this song will be starting on the 13th bar. I'm curious why none of these MIDI tracks. Oh, because they're muted. Yeah, that'll do it. I'm just going to delete all of the tracks for the intro. This is something that I want to rework and I'm not feeling like working on right now, so I'll do that. It's really slow, so I need to update the tempo. I've got my tabit file open over here. The song starts about here. Actually, it starts before then. Starts here. Tempo is 182 for this section. So we'll just go ahead and set the full tempo to 182. The intro has a different tempo. Again, I might rework that, so I'm not really certain what I want to do there. So now This is super annoying to listen back to because it's not properly programmed yet. But these are the drums that I wrote for this song. I'm going to move this over here and do that. I'm going to max out all the velocities first. Just sort of what I like to do at the beginning. I know it's nuts, but it's going to also make the cymbal thing at the beginning sound awful. One thing I want to make sure of with these is basically what's happening with these cymbals is it's like kind of a swell, cymbal swelling. Two hand, two cymbals. It's going to start out louder, get quieter, kind of have a build, and then hard hits on the on beats while swelling, getting a little louder, and then getting into the main beat. It's sort of the secondary intro of this song. And this is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to play it. It's bad. I think that's way too fast too. I don't think that's realistic. Got a little bit of a tom fill thing. And just standard pump beat. Not blazing fast. I mean, it's pretty fast, but it's not like a NoFX style. Speaking of NoFX, I forgot to mention pop punk shirt of the day. Today we're wearing NoFX. So long and thanks to all the shows. This was a tour shirt from their final tour a couple years ago at this point. They came through Orlando, super close to my house, so just went to there and hung out, watched NoFX with my wife, and it was a good time. I don't know if these cymbals... It also looks like I'm missing a couple here and there, which is weird. The intention was to start with both hits, which I'll do. You were there. Okay, so I got rid of that one in there. These don't need to be like perfectly in time either because they're swells. It's weird that I missed one, so I'm gonna drop one in here. I'll need to listen to this once I get sort of the swelling patterns in, just to make sure it sounds okay. One thing I've never really done before is cymbal swells with programmed drums, so this is going to be a learning experience for me. A little bit of trial and error, try to figure out what I like. But I'm going to save this for a little bit later. I'm going to do my randomizing thing that I like to do. I'm going to randomize velocities. So I'll start with the kick. I'm pretty sure this is the kick. Yeah, start with the kick. I'm going to open up my logical editor. I'm going to do the thing where I set this to value 1, set this to value 2, set operation for value 2 to random values between, set the parameters. Since we're doing the kick, I like to do 122 to 126. And then I need to set a note, which is C1. One thing that I was doing earlier in my previous sessions when I was editing drums is I was editing with the key editor, where you just see like the C notes, and if you're terrible at reading piano keys and you're like on the F, if you're on the F, you have to like think about it for half a second, like me. So I just noticed on the drum editor, it tells you all the notes right here, so you ain't gonna think about it. Just throw in the C1, boom. I'm gonna select all of them to make sure that they're selected, and hit apply, and we should see a little bit of changes down here. Boom, beautiful. Let's do the same with the snare. Should be this one. This is E1. We're gonna set this to 121 to 126, so slightly more variation than the kick. Low floor tom, there's not very many of those, and there's none the rest of the song, so I'll hand edit those. High floor toms, again, there's not very many toms in the song at all. Interesting. I don't know what kind of fills I have in the song, if any. I might add more in later. It doesn't look like there's much tomfillage in this song except for the beginning and end, so I don't know. What is this? Ride? Yeah, that's my ride. Open hi-hat. I typically like to hand do those as well, but let's go ahead and just throw some randomization in. This is A sharp 1. I'll do 122 to 126 for this. And then crash right and left. I usually like to leave my crashes maxed, so I won't touch those. It's really just the kit that I like to randomize, and then everything else I like to hand touch. What's going on over here? Got some double bass in this song. One thing I like to do with double bass is to lower the velocities on the double sections. This song is going to... One thing I mentioned in my last session is that I like to kind of visualize what the drummer will be doing while playing a song, just to try to keep it more realistic to the best of my ability. I'm just a guitarist, I'm not even a drummer. And in the last song, I liked to think that the drummer would have double pedal just for the whole song, even for the 2 in a row kicks, the kind of gallopy parts. But for the first song on the album, I like to think of it as just like a single pedal, except for the double kick sections that are really fast. I'm going to do the same with this song. This song's not as blazing fast. I think this is going to be mostly a single footer, except for that double bass section there. So I'm going to go through and work on the kick first. I'm just going to go start to end. This very first kick, I'm going to slam it just full velocity. That's the first one on the song. I also think before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of random quantizing to give it sort of like a not perfectly on the grid feel. It'll be close, but I just like to mess with it a little bit. So we're going to do 64th notes with a 12 tick rough quantize. I want to look at these faster sections just to see how it messes with them. We'll apply the quantize. So it pushed stuff forward and back a little bit, but barely at all. I worry about, which one was it? This 71 almost felt like I almost heard that being off. Oops. Push it back just a little bit. So like all of this will be single foot. Something's going on there that I don't like. Something with the hi-hat. There might be another MIDI track down here that's triggering drums. Let me mute all of the MIDI tracks because they're a bit much. Okay. Yeah, these are all open hats. Okay. I'm going to go through the entire song, starting with kicks, adjust these a little bit. These are going to be good to keep as they are. So whenever I have a single kick, if I were imagining this as always 2 feet, so do like right left, right. I would try to keep the velocities closer together with a single foot. When you have those doubles, so do. Usually it's harder to pound out those 2 in a row, so these are going to be a bit softer hits, and this is like how I like to handle these. There's different techniques that you can do these on a kick. I'm not like I said, I'm not a drummer. I've been trying to practice this stuff on my electric kit because I play Clone Hero on the drums, which is a lot of fun, and I just want to get better at playing the drums. It's just, I don't really care that much about like being a drummer, but I do like to get in the mindset of a drummer to know how this stuff should sound. And I think that's important for anybody who produces music 100% by themselves. If you are programming drums for rock music specifically, every genre is different, of course, but for rock music specifically, I think it's good to try to get in the mindset of each instrumentalist and how they would actually play it. So I'm trying to practice a little bit of this kind of stuff so I have a better idea of it. When I'm using a single kick, I'm trying to practice heel toe for the faster bits, just because it's something that I've heard in the past. I don't know how a lot of drummers do the fast punk kicks. It's kind of mind-boggling. I try to power it out and like I get so tired so fast. So I'm trying to figure out like ways to make it more efficient. Heel toe kind of makes sense to me. It's just really tough to get it right. I could also think of like swivels, or I've seen people like try to move their foot back a little bit to get to like the middle of the pedal and then kind of bounce into the front one. But all of these techniques to me kind of feels like the first hit should be harder because you're like pumping into it, and then you're like hitting again on the bounce back up. Even if you're like hitting and kind of bouncing towards the front, like your first hit will be a little bit stronger. So even though they're both going to be quieter, I think the first one should be harder than the second one, because this is sort of like your bounce back hit. So I'm going to do that for all of these little double kicky thingies. Now, every drummer's different, and there might be people that hit harder in the second. There might be people that hit these just, they pound them out even with a single foot, and hey, more power to you. I suck at drums, so I'm going to program it as if I were playing them, but if I were a little bit better at drums, because I'm terrible. And I'm just going to do this first section. I know when I play this back, it's going to sound stupid because everything's maxed except for these kicks. But that is a-okay. It's not maxed, I did randomize a bit. So let me run through a bunch of these real quick like, and then we'll listen back. There's a chance I'm making these too quiet, but I could just grab them and pull them up and kind of keep the same pattern of what I'm doing. All of these little do parts you can usually pound out pretty consistently. Let's just keep going through this. I could copy and paste this, but I do like to just kind of go with the flow. That way it adds in variation. Nobody's a robot. Nobody can play this perfectly. Editing can help. Triggering can definitely help. I just like the idea of it feeling a little bit more realistic. And you know what? Sometimes you might actually hit the second one harder. Just the way your foot's hitting it. Variation. Okay, so then we get to these double kickies. So let's go ahead and listen to this. I'm paying attention to the kick, not anything else. It also adds kind of a bit of a musicalness to it, just listening straight to the drums. One of my goals when I'm programming drums is to try to make the drums themselves sound musical. Some of these might be a little bit too quiet. But at the same time, when we have guitars and bass in here, it might not matter. Okay. All of these double kick sections, we're gonna lower these down. Just so we don't get a huge amount of bass buildup. There are definitely drummers out there who can pound out some double bass and not make it any quieter, but for the health of the mix itself, you really do get a lot of bass buildup with these double kicks, so we're gonna pull them down a bit. Let's see if that's too far, just to get an idea. No, it just sounds better. Yeah, see, it's way too much when it's not pulled down a bit, so doing what we can to make things sound good. And then we get back to just the regular beat. Doot, 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 doot. I think I'm going to go back to the beginning and work through. Nah, I'll just keep going through with the kick. We'll just keep on keeping on. I did feel like some of those were a little bit too quiet. So I'll try to keep it a little bit higher through the second half. I feel like changing the currently to humanizing drums, because that's really more what I'm doing. These drums are already kind of written. I know it is programming, but yeah, let's do that. Why not? Currently humanizing drums. Yeah, sure, why not? Got something going on here. It looks like a fill. So I saved this from a template from the last song I was working on, and there are tempo changes in that. I just noticed that this song got a little bit slower. This is 170, so I can just delete all of these out. We'll keep it straight at 181 or whatever it was, 182. This song runs with this beat pretty much the whole time. I'm curious once I start recording guitars and everything if I'm going to want to add some variation. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I changed my little currently thing to humanizing, but I kind of want it to go back to programming. Silly, I know. Boom. That was too quiet. Today I am drinking water. Good to stay hydrated. No Coke Zero for me today. No snackies today either. But if Ferguson doesn't want to play video games again next Thursday, I will come back with the snack plate. Click, 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 click. Anybody ever wonders what writing music is like as a solo artist? This is what it looks like. Clicking a bunch of little diamonds over and over and over again. Adjusting little knobbies ever so slightly. You turn them a little to the left, you turn them back a little to the right. You spend 3 hours on something and then you throw it all away because you didn't like anything that you did and you start from scratch. That's the real thing about music writing that most people don't really see. I love it though, I think it's fun. Alright, all of our kicks are programmed. Boom. Easy. This is a pretty short song. How long is this song, just out of curiosity? This song is 3 minutes and 13 seconds with a 17-second intro, so it's a little under 3 minutes, really. So it's a pretty short song with the same beat just over and over and over again. Okay, I heard 2 crashes at the same time. I don't really want to do that right now. Maybe at the start. Yeah, I'll do a double crash at the start. After that, though, I'm just going to stick with the left crash because it's closer to the hi-hat. Do it again. Probably again. Over here, I go over to the ride. So then go do the right crash. Going to the right. So at this section, I'm doing double hat, hat, hat. I think I'll do a right crash. That's a left crash. I'll do a right crash. Because I'm coming from the ride. Actually, I'm coming from the snare, but whatever. So I'll do right, hat, 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 left, right, hat, 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 left, right, right, yeah, left, right, hat, 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 left, right, hat, 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 left, right, hat, hat, hat. I've got a couple of these double hits, I don't really want that right now. Right, hat, hat, left, right, hat, 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 left, right, left. Right. There's also like crazy snare things happening during this. Yeah, so I want to keep just one hand hitting the crashes right now. This drum pattern is a little difficult to follow with the kick to me. I think what I'm going to do is get rid of the second kick on those pieces. Let's listen to this. Whoa. Something's missing there. I deleted a snare for some reason. I think I'll delete 2, so it starts with the snare and then goes back to the kick. Boom. Do 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 do. Boom boom do 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 do. Nah, I'll keep the one on the snare. And then every 2 bars, get rid of that second kick. Okay, I think that's a little bit easier for my brain to follow listening along to this music. I'm gonna, when I get to these snares, make this sound a little bit better, but just worrying about the kick for now. Before I get to the snare and the toms and everything, I'm going to work with the cymbals next. So like the hi-hat and the ride for the most part, and then maybe those crashes in these sections. But I'm just listening to the whole thing real quick, just to make sure there's no weird stuff that sticks out to me on the kick. Something was off there. I don't know what I deleted. That must be how I wrote it, actually. There's no reason for it to sound that stupid if I didn't write it that way on purpose. Oh, because I do this like... That's right. So let's listen to it. Yeah, so with the guitars. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. As you can see by the end of this tablet file, this song just ends very abruptly. This leads directly into the next track, which is Camu. I think what I'll need to do is program in the notes at the end of this because they don't happen in Camu. There should be one more tom hit and maybe a kick. So let's go ahead and program this in real quick, like 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do a low tom and a kick. So now this should be, yeah, little 5th hit. This is going to be the lead-in hit for the next track. And also this is going to have like a delay effect, I think, on this last hit. But I'll add that in later. Hopefully it doesn't sound dumb. I'm going to want to like automate that delay so it kicks on right before this hit, because I don't want the rest of the sound to get the delay added in. So all of that sounded fine on the kick. Let's do the hi-hats next. I want to do a little bit of randomizing on the quantizing of the hats. I'll probably do them just as much as I did the snare, which is, or the kick, which is not much, 1/64th grid type with 12 ticks. Because I want these to be pretty close and in the pocket. I don't want them to be too far out of the way. every hit on the snare to be a little bit stronger. I was trying to get a feel for how I wanted the drums to be, just by air drumming it. So I do want the hits on the snares to be stronger. So we'll go ahead and select every other one of these. I've already randomized the velocities on these to where I like them, right in the sweet spot. That was on a snare. I skipped one. Just selecting all of these, and I'm going to pull down the velocity just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of a bouncy feel. I'll grab these ones first, and then I'll listen to the section. So it's the first bit up until the first crash hit. Oops. Now they're louder. Let's pull them back down. This might be a bit too much, down to like 107, but let's listen to it just to see. I don't want the groove to be too off. And you can really hear the difference there going back into this section here. Why am I programming the drums, you ask? I do not play the drums, and my band, which is what this channel is called, Jabalord, is a solo project of mine. So I do have an electronic drum set back there. This is so much easier to me to program. I could play it, and it would just sound sloppy and terrible, and then I have to like quantize everything. I prefer like humanizing by hand. Just my own personal preference. I could hire a drummer, but the way I would want drums to be recorded, I don't really have the capability to do. I can record up to 8 mics. I don't have that many mics right now. But I am looking, because I have a Focusrite 18920, I'm looking to get an expansion deck, maybe another 18920 or like I forget what they're called, but basically an expander for the inputs to get it up to 18. And then I'd be able to record a full kit how I would want to, but for now, this is easier. So I am pulling down these non-snare hats to give it more of a little bit of a human feel to it. Pulling them down to about the same level as previously. Cool. So that's the whole first section. I don't know how I want the hats to sound over here because this section's stupid. I want the first and second to be stronger, and then the middle ones to be a little bit quieter. So let's go ahead and select all these middle sections. Pull them down. Let's see how that sounds. The crash is just so stupid, so bear with that. Okay, then going back to this, I could probably copy and paste this whole bit here. See if it's just as long. It's a little bit less. So I've got 2 sections, so I'm going to grab from here to here, copy and paste these over. Move my cursor to start there, paste them in. Easy. Here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and I think this one's also 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'm going to copy and paste all of these. Paste them in, just like that. And then here, these are going to be exactly the same. I don't know if these are the same numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's a 4th hit on the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll need to grab all of these except for the very last hat, paste them in, and then all that should line up. I don't know what this last hat should sound like, so let's see. And it started from the beginning of this. Okay, hi-hats are done. Next up, we'll get to the snare because the snare is nuts right now. Skipping this whole stupid section, we'll start with this snare fill. Want the first hit to be hard, left hand a little softer, right hand a little harder. Every 4th hit I want to be a little bit harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll pull this up to here. Left hand, right hand, left hand. Let's hear how that sounds. I almost want these even softer. Maybe even like have a getting a little bit harder into it for the last 3 hits. Yeah, I like that. These are all good. I'm just gonna switch up velocities for the fills. I really like how randomizing the quantized randomizing works for just regular snare hits. I might even do, yeah, let's go ahead and do the random quantizing for the snare as well, just so it's not perfectly on the nose. I think I'm gonna drop it down to 9 ticks though, just so it's a little bit more accurate than the rest. Yeah. Just to give it a little bit more groove. Actually, you know, let's do 12. 12 feels like a bit much. So we'll go with 10. In the last song, what I did is I turned off a noise gate that I had. This song, when I started it, the project was already created when I started streaming, but I just took that last song and made a new track out of it. Noise gate's still off, so I'm gonna turn that back on. I mentioned last time I like the way this noise gate sounds in a punchier song, so this is gonna be like a punchier song and how I would like for that sound. Just cuts off the tail. It also lets me hear the details of the velocities and the timing on them as well. Okay, there was 2 sets of kicks. I think it was this one here. It was just way too quiet. No, it's these 2 here. I don't like how quiet these ones are. Just stood out to me. Probably do a ride next. Here is another snare fill. This starts on the left hand, I think. Do 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So do 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 do. Yeah, left hand on the start. So we're gonna want to be a bit softer. Harder on the fourth. Bit softer. See how that sounds. I actually want this hit to be harder, to put like emphasis specifically. So it's kick, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And then I'll even pull up the left hand hit there. I think this is just for groove purposes. Let's see how that sounds. It's really fast, so it's almost hard to hear. I actually want this snare here to be a bit delayed. I even might put that one right there. Let's see how that sounds. Nah, I don't want to get that far out. We'll put it kind of like on the grid. I'm gonna pull some of these around, just hand moving these. I don't want them perfectly on the grid, but they were a little bit too far apart. I almost want this first one to be a bit more rushed. First few, and then getting back up onto track and kind of getting onto the grid at the end. I might even pull these down a bit more to put emphasis on this groove. I might even make this one quieter as well. Let's see how that sounds. Nah, I liked the last one being a bit louder. I actually like that last set being a bit harder. Okay, now we're in the stupid section here. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So this snare is a little bit early compared to the rest of the snare hits. I think when you're like this would be a much softer hit, kind of like you're forgetting to hit it and like, oh shit, I need to hit that real quick. Let's see how that sounds. Bit too quiet. I don't want it to sound too ghost notey. Yeah, that sounds cool. All of this crap right here, I imagine this is all one hand, so it's just going to be on the bounce. So these will be basically ghost notes. Even quieter than that. I want this one to be kind of ghost notey as well. I almost don't like this snare. Let's listen to what it sounds like without it. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking no snare in that one. Yeah, I like that. So this one is a bit quieter. Then this snare goes away, then these get pulled down to here-ish. delete that one. That was a little bit too quiet. I think 112 is kind of the sweet spot for this snare. Then we'll delete that snare. And we're back to the groove. I'm gonna save so I don't lose anything. Listen to this whole section again. Let's back up a little bit so I can hear that lead in. I feel like these ghost notes should be a bit more loose, because we're just bouncing the stick on the snare for these things, so they won't be perfect. Maybe these two will be a little bit closer. Pull these a little bit apart, and let's just see how that sounds, because I don't want it to sound too perfect. I liked the first two. This one was a little bit too late. And these ones were a bit too perfect. Skip ahead to this next snare fill here. This is another one where we start on the left hand. So it's going to be a very similar fill to that last, similar feel to that last fill. I want this one to be a little bit late. I almost want this kick to be a little bit late too, with the crash. Is there 2 crashes here? I don't want 2 crashes. I just want the left-handed crash on this one. Let's push it a little bit late. Yeah. Then we've got another fill over here, very similar. Gonna do the same feel. I almost want to do a tom fill, because all of my fills in this song are on the snare, and they're like all exactly the same. So let's do a tom fill for this last one at the very least. I want to do a high tom first. And then it's going to be 2 hits on the middle rack tom. Maybe a snare. That didn't move at all. Low, 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 or high floor, or whatever. See how that sounds. I almost don't like this snare in here. Let's do low rack. Pretty simple fill, but I think I'll stick with that for now. To adjust the velocities a bit on this. Think of this as like the left hand, right hand hitting a little softer. Kind of want that one to be a little bit harder. See how that sounds. Okay, all of these quick snares, gotta pull them back down. Not that one. That one, this one, pull these down to that 112 sweet spot. Okay, listen to all this. Okay, these I don't want. Nah, I'll do double crashes on those last hits, that's fine. Let's mess with the velocities on these a bit. I do want to slam the very last hit, so we'll keep that one at max. Do. Cool. Alrighty. And then let's jump over to the ride. And then we'll get back to this intro at the end, because that's what I'm least looking forward to. I'm looking for double crash hits real quick. I know I did some edits on these already, but there's a couple here that I don't think I want. Yeah, let's get rid of that. We'll go with the right here. Actually, that's the left, isn't it? No, that's the right. I want all of these crashes here to be on the right side with the rides. These ones as well. This one I want on the left. Let's pull that back to the left. Okay, let's do the ride next. I think the ride I want, again, all of the, let me randomize the velocities first, because these should all be maxed out, which I don't want. So let me pull back up the logical editor, set it up. This is going to be B2, which is our note for our ride. I'm gonna set random values between, let's do 121 to 126, like the snare, just for a bit more variation. I think the ride's got a lot of round robin on it anyway, but we'll do that. And then every snare hit, which should be this one. So every hit that's not a snare, actually, I'm gonna pull down a little bit so that there's a bit more power on those hits for the feel of the song. Give it a bit more bounce. I messed up somewhere. I did 2 in a row. I can do this. Swap them. Boom. No. Yes. I might even copy and paste these over. I don't know. We'll see. Let's listen to this. I like it. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy and paste the exact same ride pattern for velocities and whatnot. Actually, before I do that, I want to do the random quantizing as well, just so they're not perfectly on the grid. Go to 12 ticks for this. Like quantize, let's listen to this. I think I will actually keep the velocities exactly the same for all of these. So this one's good. I already copied that one over. Let's do a copy and paste over here. Oops. And then I will randomize the quantizing for all of these separately, so that way they're not exactly the same. Something I just did is I brought down the hits of all the crashes for the bulk of the song, so they're not all slammed. I think I did a little bit too much. I think I should do 125 to 127. I do like when they are slammed occasionally. They just sound a little too soft now. Just for some variation. Okay, I'll keep the crashes to the grid, except for the ones that I hand adjusted. Let me listen to this section again and see how I feel about the crashes. I think what I want to do, because right now I'm going back and forth all the time. I think I want to do back and forth, but on the just keep it two in the same. Which one is it? This one. I want to do left, right crash only. And instead of double crashing, just go back to the other one. So pull this down to here, delete that. This down to here, delete that. This down to here, delete that. Listen to the whole thing. I kind of want to swap all of them. So, hey, I don't even know what I just did to draw that in like that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this so that I can just see the separation and then pull this back to the other one. Let's see how that sounds. No. Back to the way it was before. However, every other one it swaps. Maybe? I don't know. Let's see. Trying to think of how I want to do this. Maybe these. So now these ones will all swap. I don't know, this is gonna be kind of weird. I want these ones to be on this crash. Nah, I'm not feeling that. Let's see how this originally sounded. One thing I keep doing is Control Y for redo instead of Control Z. And I forgot that's not a thing in Cubase. It's probably doing something. I don't know what Control Y does. Control Y is not assigned to anything. Really? Okay, well, we're gonna assign redo to Control Y. Can I have multiple? Control Shift Z is to Control Y, assign. Control Shift Z, assign. Cancel. I know that's redo zoom. Whatever. So now I've got to redo zoom. Maybe I'll actually see what's happening and be like, oh yeah. Okay, let's listen to that again. Okay, save. I like how that's all starting to sound. I think all that's left is this intro thing. Drums are been pretty simple on this song. Okay, so this is gonna be a swell thing. We're just gonna pull all these down and like do like a riser. Actually, I'm going to draw these by hand and then affect it afterwards. So I want the start, and then we like go way down and kind of riser up. But I only actually want, and that might be too low. I don't know how cymbal swells work with programmed drums, so we're just gonna wing this. That's probably gonna sound terrible. I mean, it doesn't sound bad. I do want there to be emphasized hits on the kicks. So like here, I want them to be a strong hit. As well as here. 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 Oops. I feel like these are too fast, so I might need to delete some of these out. I feel like they don't get quiet enough, so I'm gonna drop this down a bit. Or just redraw this in, it's no big deal. I think I might do like sort of like a down and up kind of thing. I don't know. See, that gets too quiet. It's weird. I feel like there should be like multiple hard hits too. I wish I could see and reference a recorded drum swell. And again, I think that this gets too quiet. I feel like we lose a lot of like the cymbal sound in this. And then this one was too loud. I mean, that sounds pretty good. I don't know if I'll keep it like that, but for now, it's not bad. I'm really surprised that it's sounding okay-ish. I think I want to do a bit of, other than the, other than these harder hits, I think I want to do a little bit of, dang it. Randomizing on the quantizes. I might even do more ticks than that. Just so that it's not just like perfect whatever 64th hits that these are. Dang it. I already had them selected. Are these not on the grid now? Hard to tell. Okay, and then apply quantize. See how that sounds. I wish I could easily like make these triplets or something, because these are insane. I think maybe what I'll do, can I step through these easily? Sort of. Okay, I'm gonna just delete a few of these just here and there. Like that one. And I'm just kind of moving forward and deleting a few here and there. I'm mostly deleting on the right hand. I don't know, this might be a bad idea. I should just like delete every 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, maybe every 4. Oh, don't want to delete that one. That's the important one. Nope, not that one. Delete like another one of these in the middle there. This might sound bad, but we're trying it out just to see. Sure, why not? Listen to that. I don't mind it. There's still just way too many of these in here, so I'm just gonna go through and hand delete stuff just so it looks a bit less crazy. Because once they start like really running together, it just sounds nutty. Maybe I'll pull stuff apart. This is one of these things I gotta kind of hand adjust just so it doesn't look impossible. And I don't even care if these are on time. It doesn't matter because it's a cymbal swell, so. I'm just trying to get them well spaced. Using visual judgment, not logical. Realistically, there should be one green between every pink. But I'm not paying that much attention here. Unless there's like stick bounce happening. Which is possible. Oops, that's the important one. Delete you. There can definitely be 2 hits at the same time from both hands. Oops. Delete. 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 Space them out a bit. I think I got too many in here. Maybe 1 too many there, pull that over. Okay, and 1 more delete. Pull it over. Let's listen to that, see if it sounds a little bit better. I want all of these kick ones to be slammed. I might even delete the ones right before and after the slammage. Okay, okay, no, it's just... Why can I not select both of these? That's really annoying. There we go. That way you're like lifting your hand up. Kind of thing. Okay, so you have to draw a box for selecting multiples of these down here. Controls are weird. Let's see what that sounds like. Maybe even this one can get deleted. Yeah, we'll bring that one back. This one I guess there's two hits at the same time that kind of slams, so let's drag these over a bit. So there's like delay. Which one's the right hand again? That one. Okay, so the right hand's probably gonna be more dominant. Let's do that. Okay, so a couple of these are pretty bad. This one needs to get pulled over to be on time. Let me copy and paste another one of these in here so it's closer. Same deal. No, this one's fine. Just the timing was a little off on that one. Okay, let's listen from here. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little bit human, I guess. That's still weird, but maybe with music in there, it'll sound pretty cool. It doesn't sound bad, but I honestly don't know how to program cymbals well, so we're just running with it. Okay, all of these toms here are slammed. I like to think of the right hand as being stronger than the left hand, so any left hand hit should be a little bit quieter. And this here would be a left hand hit, would it? Do. No, this would be a right hand hit. And then there's, okay, yeah, right, left, right. I wonder if I can select all of these and see them all at the same time. I can. I feel like the cymbal hits would be a little bit softer when you're blasting out. A really fast fill type thing. And then we keep it going. So let's select all of these. I can see it all. I actually don't want to have my kick selected because those will probably stack. So this is a cymbal. Again, the cymbal will probably be hit a little bit softer just because we're slamming this fast thing. This looks like a right hand. And there's nothing here, just a kick. Then that's my snare fill, so let's listen to all this. I almost feel like some of these cymbal hits are getting to be a little too slow. Like I deleted too many. I don't know. Nah, that's fine. Sounds good. I don't think I want to have a double crash here. We're gonna do the left crash. Cool. I think that the drums are good enough for now. I might do some more tweaking once guitars and bass are recorded into this song. But for now, I think that'll do it. Only an hour and a half on today, but I'm getting a little sleepy, so I'm gonna get ready to get to bed so I can go to work tomorrow, and I'll be back on again one of these days. But anyone who's watching, thanks for tuning in. Anybody who's watching later, thanks for watching an old, boring stream of me just clicking around on these little diamonds and setting sounds and speed and velocity and stuff. Hope you learned something. Appreciate you hanging out. Peace.